Kwanza nataka kupongeza kijana Mohamed Ahmed. Congratulations kwa juhudi ya kuauthor hii kitabu. And I think Mandera youths are very proactive when it comes to author books na kuandika vitabu. Nikiangalia between Garissa, Wajir na Mandera, Mandera has the highest number of authors. Na hiyo nataka kuwapongeza wote ambao wamefanya hiyo juhudi, na kwa sasa nataka kumwambia kijana Mohamed ya kwamba pongezi sana na tunakutakia kila laheri. Continue with the same spirit. Make sure that you go all the steps. You know, ukiandika kitabu moja, let that be your starting point. Enda masomo ya juu zaidi, then keep on writing bigger titles.
That you have just created a permanent space in the history of the Mandera County government. You have created a permanent space in the history of the Somali community. You have created a space in the manuscript and literary works of this nation, because your book will have a space in our libraries, and that represents you. It represents the government of Mandera, because we invested in it one way or the other. It represents the people of Mandera, and that makes us very, very proud, and very proud of you particularly. So continue with the good work. I can only congratulate you. But of late, since we came in, if you were keen enough, you would have observed that we are launching books month after month, year after year. This has never happened in the past. And I can confidently say that because I did my formal early year childhood school here. I did my primary education here. I did my secondary education here. But I have never seen the number of book launches that I have seen in the last 3 years as I did this time. I do not say that for Mohamed alone. I say that for all the authors whose books we have launched. And very interestingly, the books we are launching year after year, month after month, is not written by men my age or women my age, but all of them are written by young girls and young boys. It sure then means that we must be doing something different from the past. We must be doing something from the past, because everything in life is evidence-based. And it's very clear evidence. At the rate which our boys and girls are writing books, then our students are doing something differently, our teachers are doing something differently, our government is doing something differently. And that is investing in the minds of our young boys and girls. And I thank them because they are showing it to us by writing books, by engaging, by researching, and doing many other great things. So it definitely has to make myself and His Excellency the Governor very, very proud. And of course, all the other leaders, the parents, and our community. I want to encourage you to continue with that spirit. This world is no longer about bullets and guns and firearms. It's about what we should be fighting about is, or with, it should be ideas. Ideas, okay? Intelligence, research. That is what the world is competing on. It's not who can fire, who can kill, and who can hate, and who can incite. What we need in Mandera more than anything else is exactly what Mohamed did. If I do remember correctly, what Naslim, I think that was the last book that was launched, did. Yeah? Taslim did, is what Abdullahi did earlier this year, and what the many others before them, Ferdosa, when we came in, I think, if I remember correctly, and the many others. And I want to continue to encourage you to keep doing that, because the more of you who commit your minds and your time and your efforts to writing, the less time you will spend in fake, useless clan and ethnic ideas in this county. The more time you put your time in positive energy and good things. Because as we speak today, we have some sort of clan conflict. But had we been doing what we are doing 30, 40 years ago, I believe the young men and women who are out there who are causing harm to our community would be writing books. It's because of the condition and the circumstances under which they grew up. They grew up in a place where clan and ethnic chauvinism is rewarded. They grew up in an environment whereby hitting, killing, and hating somebody else is also rewarded. So what we need to reward, and reward immensely as a community, is the works like that one of Muhammad Ahmed Muhammad. I cannot congratulate him enough. I know he has spent long nights writing this book. I know he has spent countless times researching ideas for this book. I know that what he has written represents what's happening in our community, and I have no doubt he will continue with this very, very path. And I really appreciate him because as a young man, he stood out as a very good example to young women and men because they could also do what he exactly did. And that is positive contribution to our community. With those very few remarks, I will be the first one to buy the book or the books, but I will not do that until His Excellency announces.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this opportunity to come together again as community of Mandera to launch a book authored by none other than our student. And I want to join the leaders who spoke before me in recognizing and congratulating the good work they are doing. 3 days ago, when I went to my office, I met a young girl in her school uniform with her father holding a book. So they were at the waiting room, so I decided to go in and find out what they were doing because I noticed the girl is in her uniform. So the young girl, by the name Uba Ali Adan, who is a grade 9 pupil or student, I don't know what they are called, the junior school, grade 9 junior school, in one of the local school, has authored also a book. And she requested me, she came with her father to ask me to launch again that book. So I promised her that, inshallah, we're going to do it within November. And I asked whether we can do it after exam, but she said no, she wants to be launched before the exam so that her classmates participate in that event. So she wrote a book by the name In the Shadow of Silence. So, hiyo ni kumaanisha we are on the right track. And it was just, I think, the beginning of this year, or was it last year, when we launched the book written by a Form 2 student at Mandera Secondary School by the name Abdullah Alim. And he wrote a book by the name The Generation of Today and 99 other stories. One of the stories was actually what really attracted my attention. He talks about peace and what conflicts do to communities. So I think we were with Abdullah also in Boma Bay, the way the CCM education said. And then towards the middle of this year, we launched a book by the name Yes, I Can, The Girl from the North, by Taslim Muhammad Aliu. So there are several others who are in the line also. So as leaders of Mandera as county government, as the governor, sitachoka, because that is the only way we can encourage our writers. Today we are here to also launch the book by the name Against All Odds. It's a fiction book, but it's very relevant to the situation in northern Kenya. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Equity Bank, especially the Wings to Fly, for enabling students like Abdullah and many others, I think including even Taslim, because had it not for Equity Bank scholarship, they should not have been where they are today. So tunasema asante sana Equity Bank. As county government of Mandera, we recognize Equity Bank and we will continue partnering with them to make sure that we catch up with the rest of Kenya. My request to the young writers, we also need to write on the history of Mandera County. I think that is the area I don't have a lot of information. Because zamani ni mzungu tu ndio anaandika kitabu, si ndio? That is why we are told that the first man who has seen Mount Kenya or discovered what was his name? But there are people, human beings who are living there, who have been living there. Imagine somebody telling you, a mzungu who comes from where he is, and then he writes a book and saying he's the first man. So those who have been living around the mountains are not human beings. That is basically what they are telling us. The same case with even the freedom fighters. As the region, we don't feature anywhere because we never had writers from this area who write our stories. So I think it's also good to look inward, to look at the history of Mandera, where we came from, and of course the leaders who have really also fought independence. As Maska, the Maxa is Mandera County Student Association. Mr. President, no, he's the president. He's the most powerful person in this room. Engineer, I think we spoke the other time. And as student association, we need to fight this thing called examination cheating. It really pains me when we spend millions of shillings on secondary education. By the end of this financial year, we will have spent about 1.7 billion shillings, direct payment to schools to support our students. And yet the product doesn't correspond with the effort we are putting in. Why am I saying that? We advertised for village administrators recently and the revenue clerks. And we are not asking for much. We ask for D+. Said anybody who have scored D+, hatujasema above, neither below, sema tunataka tu D+. And then of the 3,000 applicants, close to 50% are people who have scored C+ and above. C+, B-, B, B+, A. So it's not that they are so disparate or they can't join institution of higher learning, but because they know they can't. Na saa zingine wazazi wanasema si kijana yangu ama msichana yangu hajakuwa shortlisted, alafu namuuliza alipata ngapi? B+. Naambia peleka university. B+ material, my friend. Zamani unajua students from these regions used to have D+, and they go to colleges and they become the number one in other part of the country. Now it is the other way around. So unless we become honest with ourselves, and I know it's a very political thing, nobody can talk about it, but I don't mind. We'll deal with politics when it comes. I have told our principals, even recently, when we pay the fees for a second term and the entire amount of money for a third term, because tumewalipa shule yetu yote mpaka January, we told them, my friend, brothers and sisters, I had a breakfast meeting with them in my house. See, why can't we stop this thing? Why do we cheat ourselves? It's not cheating. We are not cheating the exam. We are cheating ourselves. Ama namna gani? As an association, you must talk about this. If we don't do, then we are doomed. We are actually sitting on a time bomb. We will have students with B+ and A+ who cannot even write their names. We have to be very honest with them. I know it has been very, very political. Saa zingine watu wakiongea na kuanga pressure mingi. Parents, wazazi, kwa nini munalipa pesa 15,000, 10,000 ati kijana yako ama msichana yako asaidike kwa exam? It is not right. Mulishinda kulipa fees ndio tunalipa. Hii pesa munalipa ya exam natoka wapi? I think this is not right. So mambo imtihana then afaralani. And I've talked with the directors of education, both TSC and ministry. Hata wamewaita sheikhs waongeleshe walimu wetu. I hope this time we will get a result that reflects our children or students. Finally, before I launch the book, with the student association again, tunataka tusaidiane kwa kitu moja. We shy away from technical institution. We don't do technical courses. We want just to be employee, not employers. And 95% of building or construction industry in this county is run by people from outside the county. And these guys are making millions of shillings. Anina wahan kalale ina laglan, shagalaan. My friends, tulisema watu ya TVET tuwapatie free. Then walisema atakuna exam ya NITA, niliwaambia nitalipa pesa ya exam ya NITA. KTTC tulisema MPs wanalipa bazari, sisi tunalipa. We have even hata tukaenda mpaka Turkey. Tuleta watu ambao watatusaidia kwa this because we have a very important equipment hapo kwa Mandera Technical Training College. Production machines zile ziko hapa, you cannot imagine. Juzi tuka advertise for engineers, mechanical engineers, degrees, diplomas. We couldn't get. Tulipata vijana wawili wame struggle, wamemaliza Mandera Technical College. I said andikeni to hawa because we want to take them for training. So please tell our people, hii mambo ya dunia zimebadilika. So we should be thinking of becoming employers than looking for employment. Finally, mambo ya amani. Mambo ya amani tunaongea kila siku. Alhamdulillah, Mandera kuna vita ya kabila, lakini kuna wakora. Na nyinyi ndio the digital team. Siku hizi vitu zimerudi kwa simu. So tusaidie pia tueneshe maneno ya amani. Because kuna wengine wanaongea upusi. They are not even in this country. I don't know whether they talk from. Na wanaongea matope kabisa. So we want you, the young generation, to take up this space. Sisi tunaenda. You are not viongozi wa kesho, nyinyi ni viongozi wa saizi. Hakuna kitu naitwa kesho. If you don't prepare it now, then kesho utakuwa kiongozi wapi? So I think hiyo maneno ya amani pia tufanye bidii, and then inshallah sisi tutaendelea kwa support. We will work with the Mandera County Student Association